What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, most likely, just going to be messing around with a few things in the garage. First things first, we're going to be putting stock wheels and tires back on my Miata. I finally decided it is time to let these wheels go, and I'm going to get something new. I've been rocking these TR Motorsports for at least 5 years now, ever since I first got the car. Awesome wheels. I think they looked great fitment. But I'm ready to try something different. So I'm going to be selling these to a buddy of mine. I've got new wheels picked out already. It's going to be the same specs, so same fitment and everything. I'm going to go back with a 200 treadwear tire on them, something like a Dureza Z3 or the Bridgestone RE71s. So more details on that when wheels get here. It's probably going to be a little while though. Y'all can go ahead and leave guesses in the comments down below to what I'm going to be getting. The NB is pretty much 100% complete and ready to go. Only thing we're waiting on right now is we forgot that we actually filled out the title in full when we got the car, but we never got it switched over to our names. So we're just waiting on the title to come back, and then we are ready to list this thing up for sale. Also, not sure if you can tell, but pollen season is in full swing here in Georgia. So I just took a few final photos of my car on these wheels before I take them off. I'm gonna go ahead and get wheels swapped over, and then maybe we'll mess with the Perrucci later. This is our newest addition to the garage here. We picked up our own little 20-ton shop press. So now we can do our own press-in, ball joints, wheel bearings, bushings, stuff like that. So Eric is actually redoing all the bushings and stuff on the front end of his Civic. So lower control arms, all that good stuff, wheel bearings. So we're testing this thing out today, pushing out some wheel bearings and pressing in new ones. And last night we actually learned a lesson in pressing in and out these wheel bearings. We actually screwed up the new wheel bearing pressing it in because we didn't support the inner race of the bearing, because we noticed once we got the hub pressed in, it was really loose in there.
You sure?
So that was a fail. But he's got a new bearing on the way. We're going to do the other side the correct way now.
Alright, so honestly, this should have been the first clue. It was the first clue. I just didn't know what I was looking at. But what happens when you push these old hubs out is it'll actually take out the inner part of your bearing as well. So like this part we're seeing that's mushroomed around the actual like hub itself is supposed to be in here, but I guess over time they seize and it's stuck on this. So after some Googling, some video watching, we happen to have the tool to do this job here for no reason. And it's never been used before, and I've seen this box here for years. So yeah, how would you explain why you have this?
Hey, I just buy tools, and then we got them in case we need them. So yeah, we're honestly learning a lot right now. So we're gonna get this inner race pulled off of the hub. And that actually makes a lot of sense, because we were looking at this one we did last night, and this is just not correct at all. There's just way too much space in there.
Yeah, way too much space. And you can see where, if you actually look in, you can see where it would have kept going if the other race wasn't on there blocking it. So I'm glad we found it out now instead of after it was put on the car.
Yeah, that would not have worked. Alright, so we just pulled the hub that we messed up last night off of the brand new bearing, and it did the exact same thing. So you can see now we have two races stacked up on this thing, and then all the exposed bearing packing. So yeah, it's almost guaranteed, I guess, that this is going to happen, especially when you're pulling your hubs off of old bearings. So just got to make sure to get these races off and then support the bearing properly when you're pushing your hubs back in. Alright you guys, it is the next day. As far as the Civic suspension goes, we got one of these knuckles pretty much ready to go. He's waiting on one of the new bearings to come in to replace that one that we messed up. And I think he's just going to end up ordering 2 new hubs just because it's going to be easier. This was definitely a very good learning experience. We actually learned a lot yesterday, legitimately. But for the most part, I think we're stoked to have this. I think it's going to come in handy. It's going to allow us to do some things we haven't been able to do before. Like, I kind of want to refresh the rear end of the Miata now. I haven't really touched any of the suspension back there. So I kind of want to do the bushings and wheel bearings and stuff like that back there now. Only thing we're noticing about this is it's a little small once you get some of these suspension parts up there, which makes it kind of tricky to position things and get them lined up properly so we can press it out. But for a couple $100, I think this is very handy. I'm stoked to have it. So once Eric gets the rest of the parts in for this, I'll probably film some more and update us actually getting it together correctly using this press. But for now, before we wrap this video up, one more thing I want to do this weekend. We're going to go over to the Perrucci and see if we can't get a little bit done. So I don't think I've really done an update on this in a while. As you can see, I've got the fender off here. The main thing I did was relocate the fuse box. When I originally put this car together, I had the fuse box in front of the passenger wheel on the other side here, kind of a sketchy location. What I ended up doing was taking all of these wires here that ran to the fuse box and ran them back through here into a little grommet that goes in front of the door here and goes inside the cabin. So these wires are now running through the interior of the car, behind the dash, and into the glove compartment area, and that is where our fuse box is going to live now. So main thing we gotta do now is clean up the rest of the engine harness wiring and just tuck it, hide it. So I think what I want to do right now is remove the intake manifold so we have more room to work. So if I can just get that done for now, I'll be happy, and then we can kind of start planning out how we need to run all this wiring. Alright, not bad. Got the intake manifold out. Now I have a lot of room back here to work. I've already kind of started planning things out. I can kind of see how things need to go now. Probably gonna stop on this for today. I'm gonna order some wire loom and some stuff like this to clean this wiring up. But what I want to do now is just kind of plan this out, map it out, figure out what wires I need, what I don't need, what needs to be extended, stuff like that. And yeah, hopefully this actually shouldn't be too bad now. With that intake manifold being out of the way, it freed up a lot of room to work here and kind of move these wires around, clean them up, tuck them. So yeah, should be good. Hopefully maybe we can get rolling here again soon. But we had this thing driving once, we'll get it driving again. But that is where I'm going to call it for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed this little update video, messing around with stuff in the garage. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you in the next one.